I'll show you the bandsaw for cutting metal. So this is inside the kind of metalworking room. So the wood bandsaws we looked at in a previous, when we were working with wood, do not use those for metal. The blades, the speed of the blade that's running is too fast, and it's also the wrong type of blade. So this blade is designed for cutting metal, and it's also set at a speed. This machine runs, this bandsaw runs at a speed that is slower, so that it won't overheat the blade. And we're also going to use a coolant. So I'm going to bring you, so this is that bandsaw, looking at it from as you walk in the room. So look at it from the other view. Here we are on the other side, so the blade cuts this way. We also have a wax stick. Lid's usually on there like that. It's usually hanging out nearby. That you use to lubricate the blade better. We have some sheet metal. You want to be careful of your fingers. It's also not a good idea sometimes to have gloves on. You know, there's places that catch here. So if you have big floppy gloves, they get caught in machines and pull your hand in. So a lot of the belt sanders in here, you don't, even though the metal is getting hot, you can cool it off or you can use a pair of pliers to hold it, but you don't want to be getting big floppy gloves near spinning wheels. Sometimes you can also use a little push stick, so you don't have to have your thumb against that metal the whole time. The on for this machine is down here. So the black button is on, the red button is off. I know it's hard to see. Anyway, so turn it on. Put a little lubricating wax on there. So it's pretty much the same safety rules as the wood bandsaws. You want to keep your hands to either side. You don't want to push from here and slip and slide into the blade. You want the piece of metal flat down against the table. Back out. All right. See how that metal, I don't know if you can see it very well in the video, the metal is kind of caught in there, and what you want to do is turn the machine off, not reach for it. Okay, never reach near the blade. Wait for the blade to completely stop, then you can pull that out of there. So, anyway, all right. Belt sander, just like we do out, except this one doesn't have a disc on the side, just the belt. Same rules that applied to the wood one apply to this. Do not hold it up like this. It'll pull it down and smash it against your hand and actually do a lot of damage to you with this thin edge, even though it's not, you know, razor edge, but enough force that will damage your body. It's also, these are very sharp edges. So this will run down, so you want to keep the metal flat against that surface. Again, keep the metal flat down against it. Don't try to lift or twist. It's going to get jammed in there. Your hand can get jammed in there, and it's not, no, don't do that. Another sander we have is a, they're referred to as a square wheel belt sander. And it's got a platen here. The on and off is located, the toggle switch is located up here. So first I'm just going to now, it's good to have a dust mask on for all the metal dust and ear protection. You'll notice I was doing this. I'm not jamming it into it. I'm not pushing a sharp edge. You want to be careful that you'll tear the belt. Right now it has the platen behind it, the steel plate. This can be adjustable, or is adjustable, or can be adjusted. Unplug it first, and then loosen it. Ask me for help with this. I'm going to show you what you can. One, you could have it so that it's kind of like that, so you're working on that ball, or you could have, or the wheel, or you could have it like this or that wheel, or you can flip it all the way around. I'll show you this. Make sure you retighten things when you retension the belt, but have me come and help you with it. Plug it back in. All right, and when now it has give. So I don't have that flat plate that I'm going against. I'm going against this. So if I was trying to sand a round edge, a round surface, this will have a little bit of give and be easier and give you a smoother kind of surface. Always when you change anything on the belt, or when I do it, make sure
So the tracking is how the belt moves on those wheels. So if it goes to one side too much, if it's not evenly tracking on the middle, on the wheels, turn the machine off, come and get me or the lab tech, and we'll adjust it and fix the tracking.
So, remember to keep your hands away. Be careful of gloves. It's a little tricky to get, caught in there. Well, it's not tricky to get caught. You don't want to get your gloves caught in there. You can quench this in water, or use to get small pieces. Use a hand sandpaper or a file. But anyway, so these can be flipped around. There's also a disc sander over here, much like the combo one that's outside. It runs this way. Again, you want to have the metal flat down against it. Do not lift it up or hold it like this. It'll slant you down, and that can come down and damage your hands. So you're using the surface. Make sure you have it flat against this. If it's too small of a piece and your hands are really close, use a different tool. Put your metal in a vise and use a hand sander, or a power sander, angle grinder on it. So again, you're working on this side generally, and you're trying to hold it flat against there. The other thing in the tool room here is the sandblaster. The valve for turning the air pressure on is way over here. Keep it closed for now. There's a switch that's located right here. It turns the light on and turns the vacuum on. And then the window, try not to scratch the window. It has a safety kind of valve there to release the air pressure if you have the door open. You shouldn't have that open when you're sandblasting. There's some rubber gloves inside there. Protect your hands. You want to make sure that your hands, if there's holes in them, don't use it. Come and get me or the lab tech and point that out to us. There's a gun. You point this gun at the thing, not at the window, at whatever you're sandblasting, and it can kind of etch or remove scale and rust and stuff like that. It's controlled by the foot pedal. So when it's closed and you're using it, you're holding the gun and you got your piece propped up, and then you push down on the foot pedal to allow pressure. All right, so the other machine we have in here, well, there's some other stuff, but is a drill press. And it's for pretty much metal. So I can take this piece of metal. And sometimes when I'm using a drill press with metal, I'll use a center punch. So I'll show you when I do a hand drill one. Metal can, I want to say, when you drill through, there's usually a burr, and it can catch. So you want to be careful of that. If you were drilling that, trying to hand hold it, and it got away from you and spun, you could tear up your hand pretty badly. So keep your hands away from that, and no long hair or jewelry. Hopefully, when we get back to classes, I won't have to wear a band. And then there's usually some other cutting fluid, but right now we seem to have 3-in-1 oil. You want to keep this lubricated, the drill bit and the place where you're drilling. I'm just put some on there now so I don't forget. On the machine, bring you in close here. We have a switch that has a 2 and a 1 and a 0. 0 in the middle is off. 1 rotates at that speed. And then 2 rotates a little faster. There's also a whole bunch of settings using these 2 gears up here, but I'd like you not to mess with that. Those 2 settings are enough for us. If something happens we need to, we can figure that out. So don't play with the gearbox on the drill press. Sounds a little. And the key, there's a slot for it up here so we don't lose it. Never reach for it while it's turning. Stuck. So we have a hole. And we have a bunch of... So I have a bad habit of wiping things off with my hand. Sharp little shavings are not good to wipe off with your hand. You can see you've got a hole there. Anyway, that's the drill press. Of course, when you're done with the drill press, clean it off and take the bit out. Remember, friction creates heat. And put the bit back where you got it, okay?